First of all, get out of here. Oh. Hello and welcome to the Daily Grind on this special Friday day edition. If you saw us a little bit beforehand, I'm a little nervous because it's our first ever Daniel Greer Friday here at Bluff City Media. This is my co-host for the day. Look how handsome. He's going to be sitting in for Mark. Look, I like fresh, man. He's going to be sitting in for Mark today because Mark's still a little under the weather. And the Grizzlies are 0-5. And so Daniel is going to be here all day today. Literally all day. He's going to be this show. He's going to be in 4 shows today, right? We're 3 or 4?
4. It's crazy. Yeah, we started off at 9 and then noon with Sane, 3 o'clock with Bluff City Bets. And then tonight, listen, I'll be your late night cap.
Dude.
11:30 probably start. It's crazy.
Oh, man, it is going to be late, isn't it?
Yeah, 9 o'clock start game. So it's 2.5 hours. As long as nothing goes crazy, no overtime, we'll probably start around 11:30.
Is Nate doing okay? Has he been just like, I haven't finished the shows because I'm worried he's going to just get shit hammered by the end of it. And so I get scared and I just want him to be okay.
He's feeling better about the Grizzlies than I am. And usually that's not the case.
Ever.
But yeah.
It's never the case.
Never.
Well, yeah, speaking of tonight's game, we're gonna preview it. I don't know if it's a preview at this point as much as it is a plea. I want to win, dude. I just want to win one game at this point.
Is it not just like a prayer?
Yeah, a prayer.
That's prayer.
Good. I should have edited that. We have a prayer to the basketball gods tonight that we'll win a game. It's the in-season tournament. That's fun. Maybe they'll play harder.
No.
We'll go over what the in-season tournament is later, but what needs to happen tonight for us to win?
Listen, it's simple. You got to play with more energy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get to the front of the rim. That's it. Your defense will be fine if you play with energy and you get to the front of the rim. Like, it's not that hard. And I know that sounds stupid and I know that sounds simple, but it's the truth.
It is simple. sometimes the easiest, the like best answer is the easiest answer, right? And
Yeah.
like, I think the problem is, I think those are connected. Like we slow down at the end of these
Yep.
games, and then our defense falls apart because the pace slows down. It's like I
Mhm.
think our clutch defense is ranked like almost
Mm.
20th, where the rest of the defense is in the top 5, basically everything. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. I don't
Eh,
get it. I'm hoping today is a day where a team doesn't shoot the best they've shot all year.
Jesus.
At that point, we might be okay. And that's the simple thing is whether it's us, whether it's just bad luck, whatever. We just need to catch a break. And then at that point, you feel good about yourself. You get a little momentum going. You play the same team again on Sunday, and
Mhm.
maybe back-to-back wins. You start heading the right direction. We're still going to be on the road, so it's not like it's
Yeah.
crazy, but it is what it is.
Well, it's not like our home record's any better this year
Right.
right now. Just, hmm. I just I feel like this happened last year where teams were shooting the best they had on us, right?
Yes.
Um,
Very early in the season. That's how it always happens.
what the hell are we doing wrong?
I think it's learn like so we've had people, obviously in and out, but also young guys coming up to help
Yeah.
contribute. I think that's the key to it all is these young guys aren't good defensively and
Mhm.
they haven't been good defensively. Like I know everybody wants to applaud Roddy for being a good defender, but he's not a good defender. Like
Not
he
this
is
year.
at times, but he isn't a good defender. Jake's horrible. And just go whoever else you think, go ahead and add them to the group because Aldama, Luke Kennard, Kenny Lofton, any like Jacob Gilliard, like all of they're
Vince
not
Williams
good
is doing
defense.
all right.
Vince Williams is fine. He hasn't played real minutes
No.
against real NBA
No.
players.
No.
Jitty's fine. I'm okay with Jitty defensively.
Yeah.
Listen, I know. Listen, I'll represent the brand today. I think Jitty has played probably the best off the bench
Yes.
out of everybody, and that's
Yeah.
including Luke Kennard, which is sad.
Very sad.
But it's the real,
Capital S sad.
yeah, it's the realization of what's been going on with the bench. We have the worst bench in the league right now. I would assume.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, too, it's like any sort of like trade value these young guys had at the beginning of the season, if we could have packaged them with somebody, I feel like that's gone right now. I mean, at this point, you're banking on their upside if you're another team wanting one of them. Like, who wants Laravia at this point?
Nobody.
Yeah. Nobody. He's slow. He's bad on defense. He doesn't have a shot. I mean, like, he was supposed to be a 3-and-D guy, and he's neither.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but some teams can let them cook more than we can,
yeah,
and that's not playing cooking. I'm talking about actually set and develop and
yeah,
properly cook. Like we need these guys to actually be a decent team. Other teams say, you know what, we'll let them play and we'll let them figure out themselves because we're going to suck and that's okay. We're going to be in the lottery. Well, so
yeah.
that's when you go and swing for upside. So there is still trade value, but I don't expect the Grizzlies to do much trading ever. And when they
Mhm.
do, it is going to be the third, we're the third wheel, and that's fine. Like we're going to be able to facilitate trades that way or making, simple trades, but just in general as a fan, don't get too excited about the trade deadline. It usually never comes to fruition.
No, I mean, shit. Was it 2 years ago where we were a series of third wheels and a series of small trades, and we got
Yep.
Jarrett Culver? Like,
Yeah.
what was that? That seems to be what we do
Yeah.
every year, which is fine. I don't know if that's going to cut it this year, though. I mean, I
Mm.
don't. You got to. I mean, I'm assuming Santi's going to come back good. I mean, I think he was
Yeah.
playing too good before he got hurt.
Right.
And I'm also assuming Kennard is going to have to start shooting the ball better at some I don't know what the hell's going on with him.
Well,
I
if you look
don't
at
get it.
his shot looks short, and so
Yeah.
that's usually legs, that's usually just rhythm,
Mhm.
and shooting shots in practice is different than shooting in a game, like where you're having to
100%.
come off of different screens, you're running, you're moving, and you're in the flow of the game. That's the
Cutting.
difference. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's short. You'll see it tonight. It'll be short, and then eventually, once one or two fall, you're going to
He'll
see
go.
it come back to normal. So
Yeah.
it's going to take time with shooters. That's how slumps happen.
It sucks that there's nobody else on the bench right now to be able to mask his defensive
Yeah.
inefficiencies. It's everybody calling for his heads, or not his head, but people wanting to trade him pissing me off right now. I don't get that, because it's like, bro, he has led the league 2 years in a row. What the hell are we talking about? Like,
Yeah.
stupid. I don't know. I don't know who do you think's on the bench rotation when, like, assuming everybody's, who would you play? Who's your rotation?
As of right now, or
No, let's say when no Steve-O and no BC. Let's say Santi comes back and
Yeah.
D Rose, like out of that group, and not Ja either for right now.
Yeah, so you obviously go, Santi, Luke Kennard. You have to go with, Conchar because he's played the best. He's honestly got the most, I guess, game minutes you can count on him. And then you go D Rose, and I would go D Rose in a 15 to 18 minute span. I wouldn't play him, big minutes.
No,
that's where I would stay. If you need to add in another guy to facilitate your rotations and get him 8 to 10 minutes, then I would go with Roddy. But that's it. That's as deep as I'm going. 9, maybe 10.
I wouldn't go 10 at this point. I mean, I think you're going to have to right now with the injuries, but these young guys are just getting too cooked. The team, the league just got better, and these guys are just capitalizing on these young guys making mistakes.
Right.
It sucks because I think you're right about D Rose. Like, give me 16, 17 minutes of him because he's shooting the ball 50% from 3. I don't think people are like, that's pretty good. I think it's the best he's done. I know that's not sustainable for him, but I don't know if some of his regular, he's like 26, I think 26 or 27 from the field. So he's missing every 2, I guess, but I don't, that 9-guy rotation. And then once Ja gets back, that's a lot of when and hows and ifs, but I don't know. I'm not in DEFCON 1 yet. Yet. I'm like 2.75 with I'm like 20 cups of coffee and with my hand jittering on the button though. I'm real close.
Well, listen, we talk about it today at noon with Sane, discussing a little bit of breaking it down in bite-sized pieces for fans, but also myself, looking at how many wins these dudes need to get because let's say, they are a 60% win team when Ja gets back. That. Okay. So 57 games, right? They have to win 34 and lose 23. So your difference is 11. You're 11 games above 500. I think that's realistic for 57 games. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
The 10th place teams in the last last season had 40 wins. Okay. That means that they need to go get 6 wins out of these first 25 games. That's doable. But at that point, are you shooting your load? Sorry, too early.
No.
But are you shooting your load just to get to the 10th spot? And honestly, at that point, you're doing so much to get to the 10th spot that then you have to win 2 games to get in, to then
kill your guys in the play.
And then possibly just to play the first best, team. That's the difficulty of this is the less they win in these first 25 games, the harder it is when Ja gets back. And at that point, you have to answer the questions of where do we go from here, game 26 to game 82? Because if Ja's not amazing and makes you just an amazing team, then that's the issue. And it starts tonight with Portland. And that's the biggest thing is tonight in Portland, you have to get a game. You have to win. This is a must win. I hate saying that. This is games that it's a must win. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hilarious that it's a must win and it's the first in-season tournament game. I think that's hilarious. It's a must win. The stakes are going to be so high for our guys in the stupidest setting. I mean, anyway, we'll get to that in just a minute. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
I am highly upset, man.
Oh, man.
ESPN, you dastardly dogs you. Last week had us feeling good. They picked the Grizzlies to be first in the West with about 48.5 wins. And what a difference a few days makes.
What a difference.
You put out your list of the top 100 players in the NBA. Desmond Bane jumps in at 61. Jaren Jackson Jr. comes in at number 31. Jaren's top 25 to me, but if you all right, whatever. I think that's a little slight to Jaren. Desmond Baines is disgusting, in my opinion. But then we get Ja Morant, all NBA.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. That commercial ended for some reason. Sorry, guys. We're back a little early. So we were kind of before we get into this next section, the guy that's with me right now. So I think we even have all your shows. Like you're going to be on Grizz 901 Live.
Yep.
You and Nate, are you guys after every show or after every home? I know you're every game.
Every game, yeah. Somebody will be on doing the show for sure, unless I quit, which could happen if they lose tonight.
If you quit, can Nate just pretend to be you for the rest of the season, like hair, everything? I think it'd be funny. I don't know. His wife, his poor wife. We also have the Anthony Sane show, which you're also going to be on later today.
Yep.
I got to see the bit earlier. It's awesome. It's going to be good. You guys need.
Should we show it? Let's show it now. Listen,
yeah,
I'm not going to reveal it is, but have you ever seen Scooby-Doo, right? And so they do the whole reveal at the end of the show, and they take off the mask and they reveal who is the I guess the villain, the bad guy who's been terrorizing the kids. Yeah. And so roll Shaggy, and we're gonna pull off the mask today and show you who is to blame and answer the question for Grizz Nation. Who's to blame for the Grizzlies issues right now? And so I'm going to answer that. I'm going to show you. You're going to see who's under the mask today. It'll be the very last segment as the sit down with Sane. So it goes live at noon. But at some point, a very last part of my segment with sit down with Sane, I'll show you who's under the mask. And you're going to get a laugh because it's going to be funny.
Man, like I love Scooby-Doo. I look like Shaggy, so I feel, and he's like and I like dogs, and I talk to him a lot, so that's like, and I eat a lot, so I just feel a lot of comfort there. You're also on this show. Is this the end? No, when does this come? You're on this show at some
Bluff
point.
City Bets is 3:00 today. It'll come out at 3. I'm about to record that after this show, so it'll come out at 3 today.
You've been hitting on a shit ton of stuff, yeah?
Yeah. So last night was our worst night. We went 3-2. It's fine. It's profitable. But the night before that NBA, which has been our bread and butter, I went 9-3 just myself. And so obviously Ryan and Birdman Bets have been killing it as well. So listen, our Discord wins you money. It's $5 a month. It's very profitable just to go there if you are a betting person. So go do that for sure.
Yeah. You get access to all the stuff on Bluff City Media, all the articles, all the everything. It's good stuff. More content than I think anybody's doing right now, Memphis related, I'd say.
For sure.
And you can make money. We'll move on to the second segment of the show. Kind of what you just said, like who's to blame. We won't give the whole thing away, but yesterday I talked about coaching, kind of like I wanted to split this up into two segments, coaching and then the front office, because I don't think the players are to blame at this point. Yet I'm not ready to blame them.
Yeah.
What I mean by blaming the front office here is just in terms of having this team ill prepared. You know, like I even hate that I'm bringing this up because I'm tired of seeing this. I hate anytime I see it, you know, choosing to deal Melton and slow-mo, like not sign them and instead draft 2 young guys, like that whole thing. Like, are they to blame for where we're at just depth wise? Because they've also done some great things like hitting on Santi, bringing in Marcus, you know, like there's some shit they've hit on, but there's also some stuff that they haven't, you know.
I think it's tough to answer that question because if you do one, do you do the other? And let's say we do go ahead and keep them. Like obviously Melton, the contract was nice and it's fine, but obviously in the playoffs, like you kind of knew his ceiling and he didn't play well in the playoffs. And so at some point the fans are screaming, we need to go for upside. We need to go for upside. And they do. And they get honestly, you know, just not, they strike out in that area. Right. And they draft their own guy. It is what it is. Maybe he develops into something awesome. I don't see it. But that's the issue is like you swing for upside and sometimes you strike out, but you have to understand that you're swinging for upside. Realistically, you move on from Jake and then you can start over with another young guy and you have GG Jackson already and they're ready for you. So that's another swing for upside. I hate it because I really love slow-mo. I love Melton. They were guys that could stabilize you in the regular season, but they're not guys that could really help you in the playoffs. And so I think that's the issue is like, what are you going to give? You know, you've given to, you know, Rob and Peter to pay Paul. And that the analogy, like that's really what you're doing. And that's what sucks is in the end, it was a bad draft, draft pick, but you know what? Sometimes you got to take swings to see. I I just wish we would have went with just one of those guys. And
Yes.
that's the issue. Is like you went for it, and then we got 2 draft picks that are just okay. They're fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, see, I think the slow-mo thing's more egregious than the trading Melt away, because Minnesota signed him to the full mid-level, which we haven't used for 2 years in a row. It's like, if that's all it was going to take, like, you can't take that shit with you. Are we just sitting on that money? You know,
I agree.
That one bothers me more. The Melton, I'm with you. Melton in the playoffs, non-factor year. Like, he was never a factor. Even like home games live. Every playoff game I went to live, he barely played. You know, he was a non-factor in the playoffs. Slow-mo wasn't, you know, and he was the kind of guy that could steady the bench in every facet, you know, and it's just, we're missing that right now. And I don't understand why we still haven't used the MLE. We've not used the biannual. We have to use the TPE with Dylan. Like, I don't, and with the luxury tax about to go, I don't know money as well as, like, I'm foolish to think that I can understand that, but I just don't get why we don't spend that money.
It's hard, man, because at this point you have to release somebody. So
yes,
whatever you do in signing somebody else, one, they have to be available as a free agent for the simple fact, or you got to make a trade. And at that point, you're compounding the issue at that. So if you are to release somebody straight out, let's say they release, you know, I don't know, Kenny Lofton, you're having to pay him his contract that's guaranteed. That part of it that's guaranteed. You have to pay that. Plus, you're having to give this other guy the money that you're paying more. And so it's like you're compounding the issue. And do they move the needle? I think that's the issue, is whoever you're getting for all this, do they move the needle? If it's worth it, yes, they would do it in a heartbeat. But I don't know if there's anybody out there that's worth it, or anybody that they would be able to trade to make it part of, you know, the exception, part of the deal. Like, I don't know. I struggle with that as well, but also I don't know what they would do because I don't have an answer. So how am I supposed to be mad at them if I don't have an answer?
Yeah, well, and you and I have been on it for a while. Like, if they're going to bring somebody in, he's got to be better than the top 8 or 9. He has to do that. That's, at the very least, that's what they have to do. And there's not a lot of dudes that I would want. I'm pretty happy with our top 7. Like, you know, I would put our top 7 when healthy up against, even without Steve-O, I would put those dudes up against, like, most anybody, you know. But if we're that close, like, it's like you said, who's the guy that moves the needle?
Yeah.
And do you think that this is the year that they do something? I don't.
My dog thinks so.
I'm going to pretend that came from you and not the animal.
My dog thinks so. She's whining to go outside. We'll let her out. Hey, I'll let you outside next commercial break. Chill out.
Yeah, we're taking a break.
So my thinking is there's not much of anything. I think this is going to be, in the end, I think this is going to be a season that you just kind of just write off and say, we had the injuries, we had everything happen. We need to have a better season next year. We had the job suspension. Like, we have so many excuses to be bad. If we are bad, we can lean on those excuses. I think that's what happens. I don't think you see a move of any sort that kind of ripples the water at all. I just don't. I don't know why they would, because unless it's somebody that you can kind of say, hey, we're going to make this trade because it's going to make us better next year. I think any move that they make this year, it will be for the future. It will not be for right now.
So, man, writing this year off makes me sad, but I think you might be right. But also, excuses are like assholes, you know, but we have a lot of assholes, I guess, right, this season. We're going to take another break because I want your pup to use the bathroom. We will be right back, and I will let this commercial finish till I bring us back. I'll be back in a few minutes, y'all.
Seth Hennigan just still, he
doesn't look himself.
He just doesn't, in the big moments, he's not making the plays that have to be made. If you look at the raw stats, they're not terrible, but the 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And he fumbled twice. They didn't lose those fumbles, but 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions, one of them coming at a terrible time on a 4th down late in the game when Memphis really needed to put points on the board. But I just don't think Seth is playing well enough to elevate this team.
Right.
I think he's playing well enough for Memphis to be fine, but as far as for them to do something special, and to elevate this team, he's just not playing like that.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Kenny, there are certain guys in the NBA that are enigmatic players. They're going to be appealing to a large fan base. But when you have guys like that, who like Ja Morant, who have off-court issues he's had, Kyrie Irving has had the things he's had, the NBA doesn't particularly like the fact that those guys are larger than life. If I'm NBA, if I'm ESPN, who of course are working together on all this stuff, I'm going to start telling you who you need to like. And it's going to be a different type of guy to kind of play off of the guys that are going to be there anyway. Let me put these squeaky clean image guys that we want to put in front of you up there as well to kind of counteract some of the stuff we get with the guys that we don't have any control out of. So let me put the Tyrese Halliburtons in front of you. Let me put the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders in front of you, the Josh Giddeys. Let me force these guys in front of you, not particularly on national television games, but let me just kind of create these little sub agendas with these guys to kind of make them those second tier stars that we're gonna like put out in front as well. Like, they're doing this on purpose, man. Like, if anybody can't see this, like, come on, man. Do not sit there and tell me that you really think that Tyrese Halliburton is a top 20 player in the NBA.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right. I let that one finish. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. We're part of Bluff City Media. If you're not an insider, become an insider. We're celebrating our first annual Daniel Greer Friday today. It's the first Friday of every November from now on. You can get a bunch of shows like the Grizz 901 live postgame show. He's going to be on Anthony Sane's show today. He's going to be on Bluff City Bets. And you can get access to all this and more by being a member of our insider Discord. That stuff. It's $5. It's easy. It's like 5 double cheeseburgers some places. Maybe. It used to be $5. I don't know. I love cheeseburgers, Daniel. Leave me alone. All right. So last segment, in-season tournament. What is it? Who is it? What does it mean? Do you know much about it at all? And are you excited for it?
To say I'm not excited would be a cop-out. I'm excited because it's different and it's intriguing because I'm curious if the players take it more serious, right? I think that's the biggest thing. Do they take it? If they take it more serious, I think it'd be more. I think it's going to be fun. But it's just like anything else. Like let's say you're in a league, or a basketball league, old man basketball league, and you're playing. But then, like, you have a couple of guys that you like to play against, and like it kind of gets you revved up for that game. You're like, all right, cool. Like I want to go against them because it's always fun. It's always a good matchup, and you just kind of up yourself for that game. It's the same thing as here. It's kind of the same exact thing, same exact teams. You just get a little up for it, and I think that can be the truth. Plus, coaches get paid if they go to far along the tournament. Players make more money, and obviously, we have a team full of guys that are low on the actual, payroll. So
that's
could be big for them. I don't know.
That's a good point. I mean, we got a lot of guys making like less than $3 million or less a year, like actual dudes. That's a good point. It seems overly complicated for what it is. I mean, just in terms of like, here's what is this? These are ties. The breaking tie. I mean, I guess every sporting thing ever has a weird tiebreaker thing. Yeah.
So it's just like pool play in soccer. Like you play, like just like when you go to the Olympics and the World Cup, you have your pools, and the best teams out of those pools advance. It's the exact same thing as that. It's just we're not used to it. It's different. But if you understand soccer, then you understand pool play, and then you move on to advancing out of your pool to be into the actual single elimination tournament. Yeah.
So hearing you describe it like that makes sense. But when I hear pool play, I just think of like pool noodles and chicken fights and little shitty kids. I was just like, ugh, I really didn't like that. Our group, who's in our group? Our group is us, the Suns, the Lakers, the Jazz, and the Blazers. I'm trying to, and stars have to play, right? Like, are these some of the games they are required to play because they're all nationally televised?
No, you're not required for any.
Incentivized to play?
You're supposed to be incentivized.
I
But
mean, do you see like AD, LeBron, KD, Beal? Do you see them playing in this?
as long as it doesn't hurt their team's regular season future, they're going to, like they're going to make the decision based on that. So if it like is it's not on a back-to-back, like there's none of these games that should be like, oh my God, I can't play because I need to get rest. That's not gonna be the excuse. But if they're somewhat kind of, feeling a little weird in their hamstring, their foot, their ankle, whatever, then they're not gonna play just like they normally would. Like there's nothing going to be extra that these teams are going to do and these players are going to do just to make sure they play in or whatever this midseason tournament is. Yeah.
Man, that might actually work in our favor, now because we're losing so bad at the beginning, we have to actually win in the month of November. So hell, maybe they did this on purpose. They lost the first little bit so they could win the in-season tournament.
I wish they have to have the worst odds. They have to.
The last time we started out this bad, it was 2004, 2003, 2004, 04 at least. And we made a coaching change midway through.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I don't think it'll happen either. I think, like you said, if anything, we'll write the season off. But that is going to do it for us. Thank you for hopping on with me today, Daniel.
For sure.
If you like Daniel, you can see him 3 or 4 more times today. But that'll do it. Stay tuned. Watch the game tonight. Go Grizz.
We're favored. We're favored tonight by 3.
My ass. Okay. That'll do it. We'll see y'all at the post-game show tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be here Monday. Thank you, Daniel.